So finally on the 31st of October 2020 was when I decided to go out to Vasai Fort on a ride. This time I had 3 other friends with me, that is Brian, Ryan, Neil, that's Ryan's brother, and myself. We set out early in the morning, not very early actually, around about 8:30 in the morning, and we reached Vasai. This is a small ride through the villages of Vasai, and we are right now crossing Tamtalao. Ryan is a little bit ahead of us. I think we might find him on the way. And on the right hand side is Tamtalao. Here's Ryan, and I think he's just adjusting the camera of his helmet, and that's Tamtalao, and we then head forward towards Vasai Fort. Now the fort was a little bit ahead of Tamtalao, about 10 minutes ride, and over here is the final point where we turn left to go towards the Vasai Fort. Now just before the Vasai Fort, on the left hand side, is a small little park or a garden as you may call it, and in this garden is a statue of Chimaji Appa, who is the person who is responsible for actually capturing the Vasai Fort from the Portuguese, and that's when the Marathas took over, and that happened in 1739. This is the statue that lies over there, and these are a few pictures of, this is a nest that we found over there. I don't know which bird it belongs to, but it was looking really beautiful. A lot of greenery all around this place. And finally we can actually look at the front of the Vasai Fort through these trees. There it is. Right, this is the front of the Vasai Fort, but what Ryan actually wanted us to do, he was a person who knows a lot about this place. He said we will enter the fort from the back gate, or from the back door. So we head on this road parallel to the fort, maybe about a kilometer right towards the back, and we reached the back of the fort. But what we see first is a little kind of a jetty. Now this is a very unique spot over here. This jetty actually was a place where ships used to come in, and across this creek, that's the Vasai Creek, or the Binder Creek as you may call it, is Gorai, and there is another fort over there, right? And as you can see on the other side, right towards the other side, right? So finally we decided that it's time to enter the fort, and Ryan head us towards the back door of the fort. Now this road was a little up and down, a lot of stones. It's like an off-road kind of a ride, and here's the back door entrance of the fort. I really was a little scared because there were a lot of stones, and to actually get the bike into the fort, it was a kind of a step. It was quite a high step, and both these bikes were small bikes. So what Ryan did was his brother put a plank, and we had to actually ride the bike over the plank into the fort. So here's what actually Ryan did to get the bike into the fort. He is the expert after all. He got another stone over there. That's it. And he takes the bike. His bike goes in first, right into the fort. And the next was my chance. I was a little bit scared, but tried my best, and they helped me get the bike into the fort. So that was it, my bike was in as well. Now this is the door, the back door. It's actually of old kind of teak wood. You can see how thick and tall these doors were. And so we head into the fort, riding through it. This place is huge, it's massive. I think it's about 120 acres of land. The first structure that we came across was an old church that Ryan said we must go into. He wanted to show us something special in this church, and it was, once again, it was big. The walls were very high, ancient walls. So it's a different kind of a feeling inside these structures in this fort. You actually feel that old type of feeling, right? Now looking all around, Ryan's brother actually was very kind enough to carry his drone along, but the guards over there did not allow us to fly the drone. So anyway, we took all the shots through the camera phone. That's Ryan's mobile phone and my mobile phone. This is the view of the church from one end, and this is one of the windows out of the church. So now what Ryan told us is that there is a kind of a secret tunnel that he's going to take us into. So I walked behind them as the last person, and there were some steps that went up. Now we started climbing these steps, and it went up and higher, and I really did not know where I was going, but we walked up the steps, kept on climbing, and finally we came to a point where I decided to peep out and see how high we were, and it was really very high. But the steps did not end over there. We went still further up, and we landed to a point that was actually the top of the fort. Now this was a very beautiful view from here. As you can see, the sea on 2 or 3 sides of the fort, and there is a very beautiful view of the fort as well, and of the church. Really beautiful, right? So then we got down and we headed forward towards the rest of the fort. This is another view from the top before we came down. So now we're heading forward towards the rest of the fort, looking all around. As you can see, the roads are all a lot of stones, so it was a little challenge for the bikes, but they did a very good job over there. There were many wells in this fort, a total of I think so 6 or 7 churches, but we found only 3 of them. And here's another one, another church. So we walked into the church, had a look around, and as you can see, they are all very old structures, really very old structures. Kind of very beautiful, all Portuguese kind of designs or styles. There were some cows grazing, maybe some Portuguese cows. A lot of greenery, and a beautiful place, and very big. So it's a really good place to spend the entire day. We spent a few hours, but that was not enough. And Ryan, wherever we went, Ryan led the way, because he has been here a couple of times, and he knew the place in and out. Finally, this was, I think now we were searching for some place, and I'm not sure where he led us. We went through some doors, and we finally got into a kind of a village where people actually were living, a fishing village. Anyway, we turned back and we got back into the fort, and we got into another church this time, and this was a very unique church. As you could see, it had a lot of rooms all over. These are very big rooms, and the most unique thing about this church was that it had some very ancient or Portuguese graves in it. Now I think I have a few pictures of the graves that you will see very shortly. There were certain places in this church where there were which were barricaded, or you could not go into. There were some tunnels and things like that. And as you can see on the floor, these are the graves. These are the very old Portuguese graves. The writing is all in Portuguese. The numbers look like English, so as you can see, the numbers tell us which year that grave was of. Some other platforms and beautiful. So here are some still pictures of the graves. As you can see, this is 1566, this one is 1669, this 1580 and 1579, very old. This one is 1566. So we explored this church a little bit all around, took a few pictures. Very beautiful place to visit, spend the entire day. So finally we walked around and we got to the front of the fort. These are pics of the front of the fort, a place where I'd come last time but I did not go right inside. This time we went in, we took some detailed pictures of the front part of the fort, and it was nearly afternoon. It was about 1, and I placed my JBL speaker right on the top to listen to some music, but could not play it very loud. Ryan found his throne over here. He's sitting on his throne, and we opened our bags, had a few sandwiches that were prepared by Brian and his wife. These are the top walls of the fort, look very beautiful. This front part was really very big, so I walked around, took a few videos, as you can see. But I would really recommend, if you want to really go and explore this, you need to come here early in the morning and spend the entire day and leave before sunset. This looks like a castle, but it looks like a castle, a kind of a square thing that they have in the fort. A lot of rooms all around, but we really do not know what these rooms were for. They may be having some meaning, but I would not like to give any kind of incorrect information on this video. This is just a brief of the Vasai Fort. If ever you plan to come here, you can always come here, spend the entire day, explore it completely, take some good photographs. It's really worth it. You have the ancient, or you get the old feeling of this fort, the really old feeling. So finally, as the time passed by, we spent some more time, and that was the end of our trip with Brian, Ryan, Neil and myself. And Ryan took us to a place finally that's called Bhajan Lal's, where we had some lassi. That is in Vasai East actually. And then we head back home. It was a beautiful day with Brian, Ryan, Neil and myself. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and have a great time. Bye bye.